Hello, this is Chick Chang back with part 3 of Halo Cole Protocol. If you missed part 2, it will be in the description below. Let's get started. On the Petya, everyone is sitting in wait for Juliana. When she gets there, she fills the men on the plans for the Kig Yar to invade the Exodus project with hundreds of thousands of Ungoi. The council is having a meeting, but they're shutting out Juliana because she was helping the UNSC, so they don't trust her. So she wants Delgado to get down there and talk to Maria, since she took the place of Diego for the time being. Delgado gets there and talks to Maria. She tells him that the council is grateful for the help from the UNSC, but is also upset that Juliana helped a bunch of ODSTs escape from prison, and they want to have a meeting with the Kig Yar and try to negotiate. Delgado is furious by this, and understandably so. The council still wants to try and talk even after finding out that they are going to be attacked. Many still trust the Kig Yar since, after all, they did help build the Rubble. Rath is told about the call from the humans and just tells his advisor to continue with the attack. He has his eyes on the prize, and that's just the Exodus. Back on the Petya, Keyes tells Jai him and his team could leave since there's not much for them to do here. Jai doesn't see a point in leaving them behind and lets Keyes know that even if he was ordered to leave, he won't. Jai then seems to be more irritated further along the plans go when the Kig Yar ships start leaving. Juliana has a re-vote among the council and they decide to hear them out. They will go along with the Exodus project and evacuate the Rubble. At this point, Keyes is filled in on what the Exodus actually is. Juliana tells Keyes it will take about 12 hours to evacuate 1 million civilians onto the Exodus. However, without the correct data, the Exodus can't go anywhere. Keyes tells her that the Cole Protocol is absolute and can't give away the data. Delgado wonders, not even for 1 million lives? Keyes tries to explain that it will risk billions if it were to fail. Juliana angrily tells Keyes she hasn't fought off rampancy for the UNSC just to let everyone die. She read that he is known for thinking outside the box, and that something would be really handy right about now. So Keyes thinks on it and comes up with an idea to use the Rubble as a weapon. Sections of the Rubble could be sent toward Mediset as missiles once they are abandoned by any civilians. Juliana tells him that the central station will need to be knocked out so that they won't see anything coming, and that 2 of the other anti-ship weapons need to be destroyed so they can't shoot down any of the sections of the Rubble that Juliana guides into Mediset. Everyone seems to be in on the plan and ready to get started. Juliana tells Keyes that they can get back on their ship, but she will stay on the Rubble to guide each section more accurately. Basically suicide once everyone is off the Rubble. Keyes also agreed that nav data could be given to the Exodus, since saving 1 million lives was worth a court-martial. Nobody disagreed. Delgado offered to be one of the pilots and meets another pilot, Finley, who hit it off with Jeffries really well, and was still a bit strung out over the situation. He punches Delgado, calling him an insurrectionist, and Delgado headbutts him, saying that he isn't one, because he really isn't. They are split up and Delgado is led to his Pelican, reassured that Finley could be trusted once in the air, but should probably give him a little bit of space for now. Jai hits the ground of Mediset with a couple other ODSTs that made it to the ground. They grabbed one of the Shivas and made their way to the building, killing stray Ungoi with relative ease since they are hardly armed. Jai is able to plant the Shiva and set up the timer, meeting back up with the others and hold out until anti-ship guns are taken down and the extraction is on the way. Adriana, on the other hand, landed face down in her pod, so she had to lift it off of her. Doing so, however, alerted tens of thousands of Ungoi around her that didn't pay any attention before because nothing came out of the drop pod. She leapt back into it and used a little bit of rocket fuel to basically ride it like a sled through the Ungoi, for about a mile, splashing Ungoi out of the way. After coming to a stop, she gets up and sees a few hundred peeling off to attack her. She fires in controlled bursts, killing a few with every burst. But quickly she is running out of ammo, so she uses the rocket launcher to clear a bit more out of the way and realizes that she needed to just get away. Seeing a supply depot, she runs to it as fast as she can and finds a mongoose, which is basically a 4-wheeler if you don't know. She picks it up and uses it as a shield before holding the handlebars and just hammering grunts with it. After smashing all the Ungoi, she notices an explosion from the anti-air guns and heads towards it. After getting closer, she finds 4 ODSTs pinned down by snipers. 10 of the 16 made it down, and the other 6 died trying to get up the hill. She throws 2 nades towards the snipers and waits 2 seconds before charging with the ODSTs. She gets to the first boulder where the Kig Yar is hiding and grabs it by its feet, slamming into the boulder, pulverizing its spine. When she gets to the second nest, an ODST is already finishing it off. One of the Helljumpers died rushing them, but not the one with the explosives. He was still on his feet. They are able to plant the explosives on the anti-air battery and then defend it for the remaining hour till the Pelicans get back. Filled with fear and trying to hide it, Delgado was piloting a Pelican with 4 others down to pick up the ODSTs and the Spartans that are on the ground. After not getting shot down, they know that they were successful in taking out the anti-air batteries. Finley's Pelican was hit, however, by something else, and he sees it going down with the damaged tail. After landing, Delgado drops the ramp and the Helljumpers with the Spartans climb on, and after getting seated, Jai tells Delgado to just get them the hell out of there, since the Shiva had about 10 minutes left till it detonated. Once clear of the redoubt, they saw a flash of light from the detonation, and they knew that they were successful. Rath was still being tended to by healers due to his injuries that he's still recovering from. He ponders if the prophets were right about killing all the humans, since Rath did enjoy the company of them. The trade, the smuggling, the piracy, the nature of the humans was similar to theirs. However, after more thought, he realized that the humans were dangerous and that the prophets were right. He gets up and walks to the balcony and sees Ungoi just staring in terror. Knowing that the attacks on the guns only made him lose a few thousand Ungoi, he still had a very large and formidable army. Luckily, he thought the comms tower was still above the redoubt, so he would be able to see anything coming and prep for it. Unfortunately for him though, the comms tower was destroyed, so he doesn't see the pieces of the rubble plummeting towards his army until it's too late. He tries to run to his ship and take off, but the shuttle is knocked aside when the building is hit by a section of the rubble. Looking through the broken glass of his shuttle, another piece of the rubble is heading straight for him and vaporizes everything on impact. So Rath is dead, and most of the Ungoi are eliminated on Metaset. Thel and Jar watch as Rath's fleet is mostly eliminated and remaining troops are in disarray. Thel gives the Ungoi motivation to attack the Exodus, with cover fire from them because if they do not attack, the prophets will be very unhappy with the failure of their mission. Jar speaks on his worry about the prophets' disagreement and wonders what else they possibly disagree on. Thel tells him to stop thinking on it because it's borderline heresy. Yeah, having, thoughts of your own is heresy. We meet a man named Carl, who is transporting on a cargo shuttle. When he arrives to the Exodus, he is met by an usher who asks him his name and if he volunteered for the Rubble Defense Force. Carl approves and is sent a mile to the defense area that is going to be attacked by a few thousand Ungoi. Then a Spartan shows up, which is Mike, with the nav data for them to be able to navigate. On the Midsummer Night, they had been fighting off small Kigyar ships escorting the Exodus to the edge of the system to get ready for slipspace jump. Keyes is contacted by the Council. Turns out they can't get enough engines online before jumping, so they can't jump as far as they had hoped from the UNSC or the Covenant. Keyes tells them that basically they have two options. Take a chance and try to get far on their own with small jumps and nowhere near enough resources, or they can jump to an inner colony, which they have plenty of fuel to do and can get them resources and some sort of protection, admitting that some of them with the insurrectionist ties might not be able to go free when they get there. Maria Escoval tells him that they already had decided to jump to the 18 Scorpii system, which is part of the inner colonies. Keyes is happy to escort them, just need to hope that the Petya can keep them in sync. Mike tells them that they dropped the Petya and loaded most of the necessary cargo onto the Midsummer Night, dropping a couple Pelicans to do so. Keyes wasn't fond of it being done without his order and made it known, but agreed that it was the better choice since they had better odds of being synced this way. Poor Bonifacio. Not really. He is drifting along in space within the escape pod, trying to get a hold of somebody to come and get him. He sees a fleet of Covenant ships popping up in system. Knowing it's a different group of aliens that didn't alienate him already, he could try to negotiate a surrender, become a slave of the Covenant, and survive. After hailing the ship, they turn towards him, and he is excited that he may survive. Unfortunately for him, he sees that they are readying a plasma shot and shoots him with it and destroys the pod, which he's obviously in, and kills him. On the Infinite Sacrifice, the prophets are meeting with the Sangheili, Thel, and Jar. The humans had escaped, and the Ungoi on board assumed dead, because by now they would have ran out of methane to breathe. They talk of the Kigyar that were helping the humans and Ungoi breeding out of control, both heresy to the Covenant, even though they were literally told that they could do so, but can't let High Charity find out. So they will kill all those that are seen as traitors to the Covenant. Jar moves forward with his sword bar out, demanding to know if they'd be killed as well, even though that they were following orders. Thel tried to make him stand down, but had to wield his sword. Jar charges Thel, and is cut down by Thel rather quickly, stabbed in the throat, and then thrown against the wall, decapitating him with his sword. Truth asked him his name, to which Thel told him, impressed by the fact that he defended the prophets even though that they were about to be executed. Truth told him not to speak of anything he had seen here, ever, and to report to the shipmaster, and find lodging until he returned to High Charity. Thel was happy the mission was over, and looked forward to being commander of a ship, a part of a fleet. However, he never wanted to lead a ship off on its own ever again. So obviously the events that happened in the Libre system left a horrible taste in his mouth. Following orders, and still almost punished for them. I wouldn't want to deal with that either. Back in the 18 Scorpii system, Commander Arthur Resnick, commander of the frigate Ready or Not, is patrolling the system. The navigation officer got his attention when he saw a 6-mile long object coming out of slipspace in system. Assuming it's Covenant because the UNSC has nothing like that, he orders to ready the MAC guns and to send word to any neighboring UNSC allies to come help. Then the nav officer noticed a UNSC friend or foe tag, Midsummer Night. He calms down a bit, but still wants the MAC gun ready just in case. Keyes contacts them and tells them not to fire, and that the engines are critical on the giant asteroid that came into space. Once in a stable orbit, they need to be escorted off. Resnick tells everyone to get to it, and that they move in to get the job done. The last time we see Truth and Regret in this story, they are talking about everything that has happened. Regret thinks that they have lost much, but Truth says that they've gained more. They eliminated the Kigyar and Ungoi that were heretical, and because of the modified weapons, they found 2 more homeworlds. Regret tells them that neither of those homeworlds are the one that they're trying to find, but 2 enemy homeworlds is better than nothing. Regret thinks that they need to pay more attention to Sangheili since honor might get in the way of order someday. Truth values the loyalty of the Sangheili, however, especially after Thel's actions. Regret values results, and because of this, they can work together to reach an end goal. They were finally aligned in their mission again, but for how long, Regret thought. How long? Thel Vadam is with the one who trained him growing up, Lak Vadami. Thel tells him of the new fleet he is a part of, and that he has his own cruiser to command. But eventually, knowing that he can trust Lak, he tells him about something that's been troubling him on his recent mission. The Prophets arguing and getting many killed because of it. He asks Locke if it is heresy to find all of that worries him. Locke explains that there are 2 types of heresy in a way, since after all, at one point, the Sangheili thought it was heretical to even use Forerunner artifacts for their own gain. But now, they can do it. This calmed Thel a little bit, and he thought there was plenty of living to do. Keyes is sitting with Admiral Cole and some Oni man next to him, who happens to be Commander Hadley. Cole asks Keyes why he brought back the asteroid, which disintegrated in orbit, dropping many insurrectionists planetside. Keyes tells him because of the 1,000,000 lives that needed to be saved. He had to try and do something. Cole tells him it's a good argument, which stuns Keyes. Cole further told him that he saw this as a huge victory for the UNSC, since they are getting many skilled people that are joining the UNSC military as pilots and soldiers. Even some have Covenant battle experience. Keyes thanks him, and when he leaves, Cole promotes him to commander. Couldn't let someone with his intelligence get away. Cole even tells him that a couple more actions like Metaset, and he will be in the textbooks, not teaching them. When he leaves, he sees Grey Team. Keyes thought that they were in a different branch, but they were just there for another prowler. Keyes asks if they are going back behind enemy lines, and Adriana tells him that if they told him, they'd have to kill him. Keyes smiles and shakes their hands, and Jai tells him it was a pleasure working with him as well. Back in the room, Admiral Cole tells Hadley Keyes will save them one day, and people like him as well. Hadley agrees and tells him that the Spartans, they want another prowler, since they keep losing theirs on their missions. When they walk in, Hadley tells them that they will get their prowler, and hands them information for their next mission, where they will go farther into Covenant space, which just so happens to be the way they like it. Delgado is sitting with a Navy recruiter, and both are trading insults while going through the process, getting more irritated the longer it went on. He had gone there after Diego's funeral, holding Maria while she cried. The recruiter told him that they would process his application, and right when Delgado was getting ready to leave, Hadley shows up. The recruiter asks why he's there, and Hadley looks at Delgado, telling the recruiter that it's for him, and points right at Delgado. The recruiter lists off issues with him, but Hadley tells him that Delgado has fought the Covenant one-on-one. Not many recruits can say that. Plus, he's already got an instructor for him, and a spot on a prowler if he doesn't wash out. Before signing, he flips off the recruiter and tells Hadley he will be seeing him. The book ends with Keyes getting home to see his daughter Miranda. When he walks inside, she is watching old naval battles from back on Earth. Keyes hugs her, which catches her off guard since she's, as she puts it, usually not that clingy. He just tells her that he's glad to see her. They leave to go get ice cream and spend some time together before he has to leave again. While walking, he refuses to look up at the sky because it's no longer distant adventure. He knows the terror and horrible things that happen amongst the stars. And that is how the story ends for Halo Code Protocol. I hope you enjoyed the summary and learned some new things that you may have missed if you read the book or know the general outline if you haven't. This book leads into Halo Fall of Reach, which will be the next summary I do. Thanks for watching. Chick Chang out.